What is up, guys? I'm back with another deck profile. This time I want to actually help the players out who are playing free to play. I actually wanted to give you a free to play budget version for Dark Magician. So I'm gonna go over all the cards that I think you have to have. There's no excuse for you have to have them. And also I will get over all the cards that aren't 100% necessary. So you only have to craft the ultra rares that I tell you and not the extra ultra rares who are in every deck. So first of all, we're gonna go over every card. We're gonna go over the Dark Magician. You have to have 3 of these. Like that's just optimal. You have to have 3 Dark Magicians into a Dark Magician deck. Now, the first ultra rare, it's Magician's Soul. In my opinion, you cannot cut this card. You have to have 3. No doubt in my mind, you have to have 3 of these. It's just way too good. It's just way too solid. Then, moving on. Every deck should have 3 Maxis, 3 Blossoms, and 2 Called by the Grave. I know this is a budget deck, but these are staple in almost every single deck, together with Zeus, and actually also together with this card. This and maybe even a Pelagia, but Excess Kotarka is on almost every single deck. Zeus is in almost every single deck. Maxi is in every deck. Ash Blossom is in every deck. And Called by the Grave is in every single deck. So, this is free to play except for these cards. You can choose to not run them, but you already run them in every single deck, so it doesn't matter what deck you craft, you're gonna have these cards in it. So it's basically like a core, how many cards is it? Like 12 cards or 13 cards you have to craft, and then you're done. You put them in every single deck. So I'm not counting those. Then, moving on. What you want to do is, for cards like Oracle Mahad is not a must. Not at all. Same with Skullmeister. You could run 1 Eye of Timaeus, but I would recommend running 2. Magician's Salvation is a must in my opinion. You could run a 3rd Eternal Soul if you want to replace it, but it's very strong. I really like running 3 Circles, but you can run 2. So now we're coming to the budget cards. We have 3 Book of Moons. Now, there's a lot of other alternatives that you actually want to run. You have Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. You have 3 Impermanences. You have Effect Veilers. You have Ice Dragon Prison. You have a bunch of other trap cards. You have this one. What else? What else is a good card in this deck? You can even run Nibiru if you're getting to higher ranks. I wouldn't recommend running Nibiru in lower ranks because they usually don't summon that much. So Book of Moon is, if you're lacking cards, then Book of Moon is a very good substitute for those cards. So, for example, you're looking up a guide and you see they're running 3 Impermanences, 2 Nibirus, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgments. You can just run the Book of Moons as replacement. It's not optimal, but it will do its job, especially until you get to like high gold or something. Until plat, they are decent. I would run 1 Dark Burning Attack. Same with the Call by the Grave. Like I said, they're staple in every deck. Then moving on to Soul Servant, another ultra rare in this deck. This is also an amazing card. An amazing card. You cannot cut this one. It's too good. It's just too good. You cannot cut it. It's basically draw the card you want to draw. But if you're lucky, draw 3. And in most cases, it's just draw 1, which is already really good. And then in like 50% of the cases, it's draw 2 if you get it later on. And if you're nuts, you get the Mahad in your graveyard as well. You draw 3. It's just game over. Now, I also added 2 skill drains to make the deck more budget friendly. Because usually I run, like I said, the Dark Rule No More, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. What else do I run? I run Lightning Storm. This should be free. You could actually put this in your deck. Never mind. You actually can put Lightning Storm in your deck because it is in a bundle deal. And same with the Solemn Judgment. So actually you can do this. You can run these 2 cards. Now, if you're seeing this deck and for example, you're still missing a few cards. Like you have 2 Magician's Soul, 2 Servants. What you can do is just add very solid cards. For example, very solid cards in lower ranks are just cards like Monster Reborn is a card you can add. Raigeki is also a card you can add. Just add powerful cards. But what I don't recommend doing is, for example, you're missing Ash Blossoms. Oh, I'm gonna put in Raigeki. No, you have to have these cards to cuck your opponent, so you cannot remove these cuck cards to actually put in a removal, for example. Then you have to get the Book of Moons or other hand traps for like this. So this is something you have to keep in mind. You cannot remove cards that you don't have and replace them with completely different ones. You have to have they have to have the same purpose of denying your opponent. Because, for example, I don't have 3 Maxis, I don't have 3 Blossoms, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add Raigeki, I'm gonna add 2 more Lightning Storms, stuff like this. The deck will not function. You can only add these in like open slots. Like, for example, remove one eye and you put it in here. What else could you remove? Like the Solemn Judgment. You can, or like the Mahad. You can like shuffle those around. Same with the Skullmeister. Stuff like this. Going to the extra deck. I usually run 2 of the Dark Magicians, 1 Dark Cavalry. Actually, might run 2 of these. But the thing is, you can just run 1 of these. And a real good card also in the deck is Big Eye, but it's not a must. It's just very good to have. Same with the Flare Metal Dragon. It's more like a niche. When you're against an opponent whose monster you have to steal, otherwise you can't win. Big Eye is great. When your opponent is low HP or playing a combo deck, you can play Flare Metal Dragon and he can't do anything or he just dies. Stuff like Epelesia, you don't have to craft this if you don't want to, but it is very good and is run like a lot of people run this card. Excess Kotarka, same. It's just like a staple in every single deck, almost every single deck. It's not as popular as Maxi, but it's like I think the 4th most popular card. Okay, so whatever. So basically, this is the list. I explained to you what cards you can cut, which cards you can't cut, and if you have to cut them, what cards you can replace them with. But like I said, don't remove cards that don't do the same effects as the cards you add. So don't add Draw when you're removing a cook card, and don't add a cook card when you're removing Draw, because you're gonna break a lot more. If you don't have the Magician's Soul, you have to find a way to get your Dark Magician on the field, and then you have to find cards. How can I get my Dark Magician on the field? Because that's the purpose of this card. So okay, I hope you guys learned something from this explanation. I also do have a duel running this running a similar free-to-play version, not even running the Called by the Grave. And I have a very interesting replay. I was actually playing against a, what's it called? The Pegasus card. What the fuck is his name? The Millennium's Eyes Restrict. I was actually facing the Millennium's Eyes Restrict. No, I was actually facing a Relinquish deck. So I do have a very interesting replay showing this battle off. Showcasing the deck and how you can actually play it when it's kind of free to play-ish, running the 3 Book of Moons. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed the replay. Peace.
I'm saying it's time.